Alright guys, so let me do another update here. So if you remember from last week, I was talking about the algae problem I was having with these guys. And try to focus in on them here. And you can see it's pretty bad. So I did Dark Blade's 1-2 punch method, and originally he had it down for, I think it was 4 tablespoons of peroxide per 10 gallons, but then he recommended, actually, I guess because there's some shrimp deaths or whatever, to drop it down to 2 per 10 gallons. So I did the 2, and a lot of it is red. I did do the Excel follow-up afterwards. A lot of it's red, not as much as I was hoping. So I think this week, before I do the water change, I'm going to do maybe 3 tablespoons. I'm going to do it again. The fish, the shrimp are all fine. No issues there. Didn't even act weird. They weren't even acting funny. So everything seemed healthy. Nothing, it didn't bother any of the fish. So, or the plants. So I'm going to do it again. You see all the new growth is fine. It's just the old growth. And another thing I was thinking about is I've been, each week as I'm topping, trimming plants and topping them, I've been really siphoning the gravel, which I know, you really, in a planted tank, it's something you want to avoid. But it was just so dirty from neglect, I guess, for a while in this tank. Either way, every time I pull the plants up, all this debris would come up, and so I just figured I'd just clean it out. The one thing I haven't been doing is putting root tabs in, because obviously this substrate is not any good. It's old. Even when it's new, maybe for the first year it's okay, this stuff, but it's not ideal. So I've been forgetting to put root tabs in, so I just started doing that. I did it after this week's water change, and I put it in. I'll show you. So I put it, I just want to see the effect it would have, and I put it in the front of these guys, and see they're getting nice and green. I put it back on the Rubens, and they're getting red again on top. I guess it's hard to see with this light, but they actually are. I didn't put it in the back ones, and you can see they're still pale. I didn't put it on the Kimberly, and the Kimberly, even at the top of the tank, are still pale, and I honestly don't know why. I really haven't changed much with the water parameters, besides siphoning the gravel constantly, and I think that played a big part with the Kimberly. So I think I'm gonna have to go back to dosing, or I'm sorry, putting root tabs in for those guys, because they're alive, but they're not happy. They're not as happy as they should be. Let's see what else. I'm trying not to forget anything here. Yeah, so I know that staghorn which is what this algae looks like, right? Can be from overdosing iron. I guess it has effect. And the other thing can have an effect is not enough CO2. With this CO2 regulator that I have, it's not the best. It really isn't. It's something I've been using and just been getting by with forever with this tank, and I honestly don't know why I haven't just bit the bullet and got a new one, but I have to. I'll show you guys the tank. I'll show you the regulator. I'll show you the messy under part of my tank. This is an old one, and the thing that really is horrible about this, my working pressure is my needle valve. I mean, that's we see it bouncing. That is, it's not consistent. My CO2 is not consistent. So I think, I know that's one of my huge issues. It's just, now I could lower down the bubble count. So this is a little dial here, and I can change this, for whatever bubbles per second. But that really doesn't matter. I can't see. I don't have a bubble counter on this, so I can't see exactly what's coming out. I've had bubble counters on here, and I just have some crappy ones, but I just want a new regulator. I need a new good regulator, because you could see that's my working pressure, and technically that's kind of like my needle valve, right? Because that pressure, how that's coming out, there's nothing, just that. On, off, on, off, on, off. That's it. That's all I got. So I think that's probably been my problem all along. Not probably, it has been my problem all along. So that's something I really do have to. I'm definitely going to have to look at something. What I was thinking about doing is looking at something that has dual outputs, so I can continue going into my Rex style regulator or reactor, but then I also want to put a glass diffuser, or I'm sorry, ceramic diffuser, just like I have in the 20. And the reason why I want to do that is because it seems like a lot of the plants respond well to those bubbles, and I've read that before, that they like the bubbles, they like the total dissolved CO2 in the water, but the bubbles touching the leaves and hitting the leaves and sitting on the leaves does help. So I'm going to see how that works. Otherwise, I'll give a quick glance over to everything else. Everything else is looking fine. The only plants that are affected by the algae are the Stargini. That's it. Nobody else has algae on them. Now there's algae on some of the equipment, and that's turning red too from the treatment a little bit. Again, I'm going to do another treatment again. But no other plant has algae on it. It's just the Stargini. So I did put a few root tabs down in here, at least just to see what effect that would have on them. I know the root tabs are going to be beneficial to all the plants, but I just wanted to see make a comparison. The El Aromatica Mini, that's actually, I forgot to put root tabs under there. I'm going to do that to them because they're pale. They're also kind of shaded out by the Kimberly, but and again, I just threw them in here so I can start growing them because they weren't growing great or fast enough for me anyway in the 20 long. So I do have to find a home for them. The Blixa japonica, I like to say Blixa, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. So that's exactly what that was. Like I said in the last video, that's growing great. It's actually getting shaded now, so I'm going to move that somewhere so I can get some light and I can start cultivating that because I actually really enjoy that plant. And maybe I might even remove the Stargini from this tank for now, and put the Blixa along the front of this. I used to like that look on one of the escapes I had on my 75 before. But I do have to trim a lot of these guys next weekend. I didn't trim anything this weekend. The reason why is because I did that 1-2 punch, the algae 1-2 punch from Dark Blade. So I didn't want to turn all the crap off and have the water nasty while I was doing the treatment. So, or maybe that would have been a good thing to do that while I was doing the treatment. I forget what type this is, but I actually like these guys. I'll move these over and start trimming them to get a little more of them. I like the opaque or whatever color you want to call them. I'm assuming they'll get a little brighter as they go up. But obviously, I'm thinking this tank is still lacking something, whether it just be root tabs or something else. So there's the 75, and I'll bring you over to the 20 long. So you see how that's, maybe if I can adjust this a little brighter. No. So, and then the other guys, these guys haven't been growing as fast as they have been for me in the past, and I think that has to do with vacuuming and siphoning the gravel. I think I'm picking all the nutrients. I think a lot of these guys probably want a lot of those nutrients from the roots, and I'm not giving that to them. So all right, let's go over to the 20 long. Kind of messy. I'll have to trim everything. I did just cut away a lot of the Rotala from around the Renicky because it was kind of smothering it out. But the Renicky's grown better in this tank than I've ever had it growing. So it's still not great. It's not perfect, but it's growing, and that's more than I could say I've ever had it doing. The Stargini in here just started taking a shit. I don't know why. So I don't know if it's just being smothered out with light, which is most likely what it is. And again, I haven't put root tabs in here. I did put a few back with the Renicky. I put a few just to see how they would take it. Put one there and one over here, or yeah, right over here. So we'll see how that goes too. See how the root tabs help with them. because obviously this is just that blasting sand, so it's really has nothing in it. But it's so light, I just figured that the nutrients would be able to flow through it. Maybe not. Let's see. These guys don't look great, but I mean, I've trimmed them up. I'm just waiting for them to start shooting out runners, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I know I have to remove these buds in order for them to do it, and I've been doing that. But these guys, the buds on these, the flowers on these are still a little short. So it's tough to remove them and keep it rooted. So I wait for them to get a little longer, and then I remove them. So I saw what I thought was the runners coming off. I don't know. I don't think it's going to grow like runners, like a you know, a veil or anything like that. Again, I don't know how these are going to come off of it, how the actual plants grow from it. I don't know if you want to call them runners or if it just kind of splits into two plants. If it just, a new plant just grows, you know, off it directly and stays in here. That's what I've seen online, but I don't know. I don't know what this species. I don't know if it's the same. So I guess we'll find out. I do have to trim this tank big time. I do like the way it looks. I guess it's hard to see how it looks in this video, but I really enjoy the way this tank looks for now. But that Sargini is pathetic, and again, I don't know what happened, because initially it was looking great, and I even trimmed it a few times, and actually that's where I got a lot of the plants from, you know, to put over to into 75, and nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is I think I went from, you know, I guess that could be a big deal now that I'm saying it out loud. I went from a GH of 6 to 4 to 5, maybe 4 to 5 GH. I just don't see how that can be such a huge deal. I honestly think it's more the root tabs, so we'll find out. If I have to go back up to 6, it's fine. Just more GH booster, not a big deal. So that's all I got, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to compact everything. I'm trying to make these videos long for you. So if you guys have any advice for me, feel free. Again, I'm both these tanks I'm doing, as far as micros and macros, I'm doing full EI dosing. So EI with remineralized RO. So if you have any advice for me, feel free. Alright, thanks guys.